So those of you who are still sort of a bit lost, if I can have your attention, and this session is being recorded. Inside the script tag, okay, Lachlan Corey, if you want to sort of give your attention, I'm just doing the whole thing again. And this time I will add the numbers, okay, I'll do the whole thing. So what we are going to do is we will ask the user to give us numbers. We will store the numbers in an array. So what is an array? An array can be, we saw that we can have variable name equals the leap, okay? But we can also have variable names equals, and we can actually store a whole array of A, B, and we can have several names. See, and if you want to add one more, I put one more comma. So there are many ways of defining arrays. I'm just going to define an empty array now. Variable numbers is equal to a new array. I'm just using the second type of definition in W3 schools because I'm using an empty. I want to create an empty array with no elements. I'm just saying I want a new array, no elements. Now what I'm going to do is array elements are referred to as, and I'll show that to you. There should be, try it yourself. The array elements are referred to by these numbers here. You can see 0. 0 is the first element, and I'll just make it a bit more compact here. If I say 1, it actually gives me the, so that's element 0, that's element 1, that's element 2. Okay? If I say element 2, it gives me the next one. I can say cars 3 equals Lexus, and if I now try to see cars 3, it should give me Lexus. I can also say, I can also ask him to check cars.length. And to answer your question, Terence, if you write into the document using document.getElement by ID, so if your p tag has an ID, you can write to the inner HTML whatever you want, and if you actually write out a empty quote, it becomes empty. So that's how you write cars.length. So yeah, cars.length actually counts the number of elements in the array, and this will be useful when we go through a loop.
Shouldn't it be showing Lexus and then how long it is? You
Oh, because I'm writing inside demo, the HTML page has actually got an ID demo, so it's overwriting it. And Terence, you might want to make note of this. You see the p tag has got an ID of demo, and it first writes out Lexus, but then inside demo it writes out cars length. So let me just make another p tag, and I'll call it demo 2, and inside demo 2 I will write cars length. And now you're right, Demetrius, it should show me Lexus and 4 because they are inside different p tags now. Okay. I'll save this also as an array example, what we did just now. Oh, it's actually got the whole thing, so I'm just going to save the whole thing. And this is an example for writing out for you as well, Terence, and I'll put all of these up on the website. save as a simple array example. So coming back to our numbers. So is that clear how arrays are a variable that can have several elements, 0, 1, 2, 3? Any questions regarding that? No? All good? Corey, Lachlan, Hayden, all good? Okay, so this is what we had. Then what I said was numbers 0. So if you call your variable num, that will be num. If you call it nums, that will be nums. So I'm saying number 0 is actually going to be a prompt. Just going to go prompt, enter a number, and I'm going to parse it, parse float. So I parse it and float it. Is that cool? Enter the first number. So for the user it's the first number, but in the array it's number 0. Then number 1, and then just copy and paste. Enter the third number. Okay. Now what Terence was trying was, he was trying to get the user to say whether he wants all these numbers added up. And you can see the difficulty already. What if the user wants to use this program like a calculator for adding 500 numbers? I mean, to write so many input lines of code will be crazy. So we are going to get into loops. But let's do the simple thing first. Now, so my assignment was document.write, and I'm just outputting the numbers. The numbers you entered were, okay, the numbers you entered were plus num, that's the variable, and this shouldn't be in quotes because that's a variable. So plus num0 plus an empty space, okay. So plus num0 plus an empty space, plus num1 plus an empty space, plus num2 plus an empty space, okay. So we are telling the user document.write, the numbers you entered were this, this and this. Cool. Now Terence tried this. Terence tried this. Question, variable question is equal to a prompt question equal to a prompt. Would you like to add the numbers? Let's get the user to give a y or an n, okay? And we will say if question dot to uppercase, okay? We don't know whether the user is going to put a capital Y or small y. To uppercase, bear in mind, if question dot to uppercase, open bracket, close bracket, is double equal to, we are comparing it to y. So we are changing the case, comparing it to y, then we will add it. Else, now this was Dimitri's idea. If the user actually says no, else if the user says no, we will do something. Numbers have not been added. And I'll just alert it out now. I'm not going to do any more document, right? So alert, numbers have not been added. So if he wants it to be added, and else, suppose the user doesn't give y or n, we're just going to say else response not recognized. So if the user gives banana, as Dimitri says, alert, response not recognized. I don't recognize that response. If it's Y, we will do something. If it's no, we say, hey, we did not add the numbers, otherwise response not recognized. But what if it is Y? What if the user wants the numbers added? Then variable total is equal to, you're going to add these, copy, paste, plus, paste, plus, paste. So we got total, and we will alert out, alert, we will alert the total is total. I'll tell you where we are going with this. So that's all of the script tag. Where we are going with this is, number one, Lachlan asked, can we force the user to add a number so that we don't get an AND? Yes. So we will use a loop wherein if the user gives us something which is not a number, we will prompt again. And we will keep nagging the user until he gives us a number, number one. Number two, we will also use a loop so that even if the user decides to give us 15 numbers, we can bang prompt 15 times. We won't have to write the prompt, see, 0, 1, 2. If the user says, I'm going to put 15 numbers, we will write one line of code inside a loop, so which will loop 15 times. And also to add, we will write a loop to add the numbers. So we are headed towards the direction of creating an automatic process for this. But try to understand this. Stop the recording here. And let me see if this